Let's ask my daughter what a refinance is. What's a refinance?
I have no clue.
Happy Thanksgiving. Hey everyone, today we're talking about one of the smartest money moves you can make as a homeowner, refinancing your mortgage. So what exactly is a refinance? A refinance is when you replace your current mortgage with a brand new one, usually with better terms. You pay off the old loan and you start fresh with a new loan, new interest rate, new term, and sometimes even a new lender. Simple way to think about it is like this. You're trading in your old car loan for a new one with a lower payment or a shorter term, but instead it's for your house. Now, how is a refinance used? There are three main reasons people refinance. The first is to lower the interest rate and save thousands over time. If rates have dropped since you bought your home, refinancing can lock in that lower rate and shrink your monthly payment. The second is to shorten your loan term. Maybe you got a 30-year mortgage originally, but now you can afford higher payments and want to switch to a 15-year loan, pay off your house faster, and save a massive amount on interest. That's a big plus. The third one is to pull cash out of their home equity. This is called a cash out refinance. You borrow more than you currently owe, take the difference in cash, and use it for things like home renovations, paying off higher interest debt, college tuition, or even investing in general. Okay, so when is refinancing the best option? That's the next question I want to get into. When is refinancing the best option? Here are the big green lights that tell you, like, hey, we should go ahead and do this. The first is interest rates have dropped at least a half a percentage point to 1 full percentage point below the current rate. The bigger the drop, the better. The second, you plan to stay in the home for at least a few more years. This is a key because refinancing has a closing cost, usually 2 to 5% of the loan amount. So you need to kind of break even, so it makes sense. Number three, your credit score has improved significantly. The better score equals better rates, so that makes sense to get it because of that. The fourth is if you build up to 20% or more equity and helps you avoid PMI and get better rates as well, it's the best to go ahead and do it then because you can save more money. Number five, if you want to get rid of your FHA, USDA, or just your PMI payments altogether, those there are ways to do it because typically FHA has a form of PMI, USDA also has a form of PMI, or just if you have a conventional loan that has PMI in general, you want to be able to go ahead and get rid of those. So that's another option as well. The sixth one is you're drowning in high interest debt. It could be credit cards, personal loans, and you can consolidate into a much lower rate for if you're doing it by the way of your mortgage. Now, some red flags you should follow for when it's best not to refinance consists of, first, you're planning to move in the next 1 to 2 years. You won't recoup your closing costs, so it doesn't make logical sense to go ahead and do it then. The second, rates are actually higher than when you got your current loan. It wouldn't benefit you in any way at that point, so you wouldn't want to do it then too. Third, your credit has taken a hit. So if your credit's taken a hit, it's gotten worse, definitely don't want to do it under those conditions. The fourth is you're extending the loan term just to lower the payments. You'll pay more interest in the long term. It's definitely not going to benefit you that way for sure. I'm now going to get into a few miscellaneous things that are really good to know. The first thing I want to get into is closing costs. Expect $3,000 to $6,000 on average. Always ask for the no closing cost option for a refinancing option. It does exist. They just roll the closing costs into the rate or the balance. The next thing I want to get into is the break-even point. That's the second thing. What you want to do is divide the total closing costs by your monthly savings. That tells you how many months until you start actually saving money. So, for instance, if your closing costs are around $6,000, and it ends up where you have about $300 you're finding that you're saving a month on your monthly payments, you take the pretty much the $6,000 divided by 300, and I believe that equates out to something close to 20, which would be 20 months. That's about 4 months shy of 2 years. So if you could afford something like that, then you would go ahead and roll with that then. If you end up not seeing that as a good option, viable option for you, that you'll be moving out of the place before that time, then it's probably not a good idea to go ahead and do a refi then. All right, for the third point here is rate and terms versus cash out. Now, cash out refis usually have slightly higher interest rates due to the borrower's ability to use the cash for almost anything. So keep that in mind. And number 4, you can refinance as many times as you want. There's no seasoning requirements anymore for most conventional loans. And number 5, right now, as of late 2025, a lot of people who bought or refied in 2020 and 2021, they're pretty much at 2.5 and 3.5% for their interest rate right now. They're pretty much sitting tight because rates are higher. But if you bought in 22 or 23, when rates were pretty much around 6 to 8%, refinancing could be a game changer. If rates drop again, of course, which it is looking more and more likely that it's actually going to happen. So, bottom line, refinancing isn't always right move. It's not always. But when the stars align, lower rates occur, good credit happens, enough equity, and you're staying put, it can save you tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars over the life of the loan. So keep an eye on the rates, run the numbers, and talk to a trusted lender or mortgage broker like myself when the time feels right. If you haven't had any questions about refinancing, drop them below. Also, watch my previous video, What is an Interest Rate, if you're wanting to understand one of the key factors that helps those to decide to do a refinance. Lastly, if you like my content, do me a favor, share it with your friends and family, and like and subscribe to get more of it. And have a wonderful Thanksgiving, guys.